All right, hey, it's Rob, and I know, Fisker went and declared bankruptcy this week. It's been coming for a long time, but I'm going to go against the grain a little bit, and I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think you should consider buying a Fisker Ocean. All right, so you might be thinking, oh, come on, you're probably just doing this for clicks and likes and whatever. And hey, I got to get content on my channel too. So, I might be guilty of that to some degree. But there is a part of me that just says, the hell with it. Just go ahead and buy one of these things. We already know what the outcome is and we already know what's going to happen. So here are 10 reasons why I think you should consider buying the Fisker Ocean. Number 10. You're never going to be bored. Come on, buying a Camry or a Civic or whatever, it's so boring. You're going to buy the car, you're going to drive it for 5 or 6 years, nothing's going to break, it's going to have good resale value. You already know those things going into it, but a Fisker Ocean, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if some company won't buy out the assets like what happened with the Fisker Karma, or some secondary market will show up and make parts available for them, or some hacker will come in and be able to do over-the-air software updates. I mean, anything is possible. There's a company that still manufactures DeLoreans after 40 years. So again, you're never going to be bored. There's always going to be something interesting going on with your car. Maybe there are going to be problems that crop up and you're just going to be like, oh well, I'm stuck with whatever the issue is now because there's no company to resolve it. But hey, that could be pretty exciting. All right, number 9. Lots of components from the Fisker Ocean are off the shelf. They were what's called an asset-light company, meaning they didn't own their own factory or anything. And really all they did, I think, was reverse engineer like a Chinese electric car platform and put out something with the Fisker badge on it. But in actuality, lots of the components are from Bosch or other suppliers or whatever, so the stuff probably is still going to be available to a large degree. Some other manufacturer is using it in their vehicle, and if you can figure out where the part originally came from, there's a good chance that you'll be able to get replacement parts if you can identify the source and keep a Fisker Ocean running for many years to come. Number 8, they're made in the same factory in Austria that makes Mercedes and Jaguars. So they probably know what they're doing. It's not some fly-by-night operation. They make the Mercedes G-Wagon, which is pretty much bulletproof, and they make the Jaguar, the I-Pace, and the E-Pace, the BMW Z4 convertible as well. So they have definitely a history of, making decent quality vehicles, and, that same attention to detail probably went into the Fisker Ocean. Who knows, really? They're kind of untested, and that's one of the points that I'll get to in a minute here. But actually, I'll get to that next. Number 7, you get to do the beta testing yourself. So we all know that Fisker Oceans were kind of just spit out on the market and did not go through a lot of testing, and they didn't drive around with the white and black squares on them and try them out in extreme weather situations and things like that. I think they just slapped them together and put them out there on the market and said, you go figure out all the things that are wrong with the Fisker Ocean. So, and that's what you do when you're the owner. You get the car and you say, oh, wait a minute, it's rolling backwards on a hill? What's going on? Or it's missing this feature that they said it would have or whatever. So you get to be the beta tester of your own car and kind of learn as you go, which things are working and which things aren't on the Fisker Ocean. Number 6, you'll be a local celebrity. You're not going to see a whole bunch of them in your neighborhood, so they'll get a lot of attention. People will come up to you, and a lot of people probably will feel sorry for you and think, oh God, you got stuck with one of these lemons or whatever. But everywhere you go, someone's gonna have some sort of opinion one way or the other about the Fisker Ocean. So like I said, you'll be walking around, getting attention, pretty much wherever you go. Number 5, they are actually nice looking cars, and they have cool features, like California mode, and the screen that can orient itself, in which way is this one? Landscape and portrait, and did I do it right? I don't know, but you know what's going on. The screen is able to, go this way or go that way, or, some way or whatever. So that's kind of cool. You could watch Netflix movies on it. Have yourself a good old time in your Fisker Ocean. And, they, when you look at them, I mean, they're really kind of impressive looking. The interiors are nice, comfortable for the most part, made from good materials. Some cheap things here and there, the door handles or whatever. But, for a car they kind of rushed to market, they did a pretty good job with it. Number 4, you don't have to predict the future. We were all sitting around worrying, what's going to happen? Are they going to go bankrupt? Are they going to make it? Well, we all know the end of this story. Yes, they went bankrupt, and most likely that's it for the Fisker. And they put 10,000 cars or whatever out on the market, and now they're going to have to figure out what to do with them. But we don't have that anxiety of sitting around and wondering, oh no, what's going to happen next? We already know what's going to happen next. If you were an unfortunate buyer who bought it at $60,000 or $70,000, you didn't know that they were going to slash the prices 50%. That was probably very traumatic. But at this point, you know what you're getting. You know what the cars are selling for, and they're of course only going to go down from this point. I mean, wait a couple of weeks and who knows what you can get a Fisker Ocean for. Number 3, that's leading into that. It's a buyer's market. Absolutely. I mean, there are Fisker dealerships like the one I said in Sandy Springs up the road from me. They've got 100 of these things. They are just waiting to go. They need to find some way to dispose of them, and who knows what kind of deal, they're willing to make for someone who's serious about buying one. And like I said, maybe even in a month or two, those deals are going to be even better. Maybe as there's just a few left on the lot or whatever, they're really going to, slash the prices on these things. Who knows how low they can go? You're already able to go out and get a used one for $25,000, and I'm talking about an extreme. Do us a $60,000 car, the Fisker One, the launch edition. Maybe they're just going to keep coming down, from there. I don't know. There's got to be a number at which, people who are on the fence are going to be like, all right, I'm going for it. So, it's definitely a buyer's market, and there's no reason, of course, to overpay at this point for a Fisker, knowing what we know now, that you're pretty much going to be stuck with whatever you got. And, on the other hand, like, we drove cars for decades. There was no such thing as, over-the-air updates. I mean, this was like a recent thing we didn't even know existed till a few years ago. So, there'll be no over-the-air updates, as there weren't for any car you drove in the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. It'll just be what it is. If the car is working to your liking, and maybe you should take it on an extended test drive and try all the features and whatever, but hopefully, if it's doing everything it's supposed to be doing, it'll just continue to do that. I don't know. It's an EV. Like, you're not going to need the kind of maintenance that you're going to need on a gas-powered vehicle. Of course, there are fewer things to go wrong. It's entirely possible you'll have a wonderful experience driving a Fisker Ocean for 4 or 5 years, and then, at the end the resale value is going to be nothing. So you can kind of factor that into your budget. If you pay $25,000 and you get 5 years out of it, well, it costs you $5,000 to drive the car for a year, and that's that. And then at the end, you can just take it and crumple it up and, toss it in the trash or whatever. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll become like a cult vehicle. Anything is possible. There's no way to know. But for the most part, you can just figure out pretty much that the car is just going to be worthless when you get rid of it. But, lots of cars are worthless, 5 years from the point when you purchase them, especially if you grew up in the Midwest or whatever, and the car is rusted away to nothing in 5 years and there was nothing left of them. I mean, that's kind of how people drove cars for years. They didn't expect them to last, 5, 6 years was it, and then you're done. But number 2, I'm Not Like Everybody Else, which is a great song by the Kinks, if you don't know it. You're an individualist. You are your own person. You don't want to just be driving around in a jelly bean shaped Tesla like everybody else out there. I mean, just go out and, you can't swing the proverbial, dead cat without hitting a Tesla, especially in Atlanta here where I live, or Los Angeles, or any urban area, San Francisco for sure. I mean, they are everywhere. So, again, you're going to stand out. You're going to be noticed for what you drive, and you're going to make a statement that, hey, look at me. I'm a rugged, individual who, makes my own path in the world and, goes my own way. Maybe that's your thing. I don't know. And number one, the first and the last and whatever we want to call it reason to buy a Fisker Ocean: YOLO. You only live once. If it's a thing you want and, you check it out and you think it's for you and you can afford it at this point, and again, they're getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper by the minute, go for it. Whatever. The world's probably going to blow up in a few years anyway. So you may as well enjoy yourself. And the Fisker Ocean looks like a pretty nice car to me. Like I said, I look at that thing and think, I don't know, maybe there's a number out there that if it got to a point where it was, 15 or, 18 grand or I don't know, whatever, like there's got to be some number where it's just like, all right, well, maybe I'll roll the dice on it for a few years and hope for the best. And again, I mean, although we already know the outcome of, the business and the fact that it's probably gone for good and, just headed towards, insolvency and will be broken up, and, there wasn't much to the company to begin with, but we already know all those things, but it's entirely possible you could still drive it around and, have a pleasant experience with your Fisker Ocean for a number of years and then move on to the next failing EV, car brand or whatever. All right, so there you go. 10 reasons why you should maybe think about the Fisker Ocean. I know everybody out there is going to tell you what a mistake it is, and, they are desperate to get rid of it, and a lot of people right now who drive the Ocean are like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I know the value is going to go down to nothing. If I don't get rid of it now, I'm going to lose even more money. And maybe some people have already lost, tens of thousands of dollars, buying it a year ago when, the price was twice as much as it is now. So they're in a different boat than you. You already know what's going to happen. You already know that the car is only going to be where it is, or at an even lower price point, as the weeks and months go by. So you take those factors into consideration. Maybe the Fisker Ocean is the car for you. I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know if you think any of this stuff makes any sense, or if I'm totally off base. Maybe the Fisker Ocean is the car for you. All right. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for today. So just remember, too, Pluto was once a planet, and now look at it. So things change in the world. There's no way to know, from day to day what's going to happen. But, hey, if it's something that makes you happy, go ahead. Go for it. Let me know how it works out for you. Bye.